There's just something about fall in the kitchen, the warm spices, the smell of apples cooking down, and that cozy rhythm of making and preserving food from scratch. Today, I'm canning a batch of homemade apple butter, and while those jars seal up, I'll show you a few of my favorite cozy breakfast ideas for the season. Our apple trees aren't producing enough yet, so we went to our local apple orchard and got a big bag of apples, and I'm going to be making some apple butter in these crock pots overnight, and I'm going to show you how to do so. So I am using about 5 pounds of apples, and I'm going to peel, core, and slice these apples and place them into a large slow cooker or crock pot. And then we want to let these cook down for about 8 to 10 hours. And I'm going to tell you, my house smelled amazing when I woke up in the morning. It smelled like I just baked a bunch of apple pies, and it just got me so excited for the fall season. If you don't have one of these apple core peelers, I definitely recommend getting one. It saved me a lot of time, and it did not work perfect, but it gets the job done. And you can leave some of the skins on these apples. It does give it a little bit more flavor. So I got most of the skins off, but some of them you'll see I have a little bit of skin left on there, and I will be using an immersion blender here in a moment to blend it all up. So that's why you don't have to worry so much about getting all of those skins off. If this is your first time watching my channel, I want to say welcome. My name is Tiffany. Thank you so much for being here. And if you are a return viewer, thank you so much for supporting my channel. It means the world to me and my family as we show video footage of our small little homestead. I share content about making meals from scratch and from home and about saving money. So again, thank you so much for being here. And if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button down below and join our channel and our little community. You can find these recipes that I'm making today down in the description below, but to each crock pot, I'm adding 1 cup of white granulated sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground allspice, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, I have a teaspoon of ground cardamom, and I'm adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, a little bit of lemon juice, and a pinch of salt. I love apple butter. I love it on toast. I also love it on muffins, and even just eating it straight out of the jar. But apple butter is my favorite way to eat apples. I like applesauce, but I just like a little bit more spiciness of the apple butter. Now I will take these crock pots and I am going to turn them on low for 10 hours. And that way the apples soften up overnight, and then tomorrow I will go ahead and can them. There are so many different ways to make apple butter, but I'm just all about convenience, and having it cook while I'm sleeping is just the best way for me to do it. All right, so on this morning's menu, we are going to be making chocolate chip pumpkin pancakes with sausage. I'm going to read you the recipe, but I will have this linked in the description down below. So we are going to use 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/8 teaspoon of cloves, 3/4 cup of pumpkin puree, and 1 cup of milk, or you could use buttermilk for a little extra fluffiness. 1 large egg, 2 tablespoons of melted butter, and then 1 teaspoon for vanilla extract. And then we are going to whisk this all together and whip this up for breakfast. So this whole video is going to be all about fall breakfasts, about being cozy and just using what is in season. So let's get started baking. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is mix all the dry ingredients. I just need to get out all my measuring cups here. And I don't know about you guys, but I live in the country and we have flies everywhere right now. They're all trying to come indoors. So you might notice some flies flying around here. They drive me nuts. Yeah, so you'll see me swatting at things, and it's just that time of year where the stink bugs and the flies are all just kind of going crazy, as well as the bees. We've had lots of bees around our property as well. Now I'm also going to be doubling this recipe because I want to have some on hand for my kids for school this week. So I'm just gonna go ahead and double everything in this recipe. That way we have some stored in our fridge. That is one way that I save money, is make things a little extra, and then I can store it in the freezer or in the fridge for later on this week. So we've got our flour. Now I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. So if you watched my last video, I did a haul of stuff that I keep in my pantry for the fall. So I went to a bulk food store and got some supplies that I know that I will be using. So we are going to add in 4 tablespoons of baking soda. I'm sorry, baking powder. And then 1 teaspoon of baking soda, which I just added, and now we're doing the baking powder. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the spices. Let's add a teaspoon of salt. So I like the Redmond's real salt, that's what I've got in here. So we're gonna add some of that. Now we're gonna add the real star of the shows, all the Thai spices here. So we are going to add 2 tablespoons, and you can measure this with your heart, of cinnamon. And again, I buy in bulk, so I have a big thing of cinnamon. I need to stock up on these other ones, but I still had plenty left, so I wasn't gonna buy it quite yet. Now we're gonna do ground ginger. And then we're going to do the nutmeg. So we're just doing a half a teaspoon of this. And I guess if you don't have all these others, you can just use pumpkin pie spice, because that's pretty much what all this is. We're also going to add a little bit of cloves. Smells amazing, and my kitchen smells amazing from doing our apple butter, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit of how I can that up. But first, we all need to eat because we are starving this morning, and my kids have been waiting for these pumpkin pancakes. Okay, so we're going to give this a little mix here, just to blend those ingredients together. Another annoying thing in my kitchen right now is that my dishwasher broke, So I'm washing everything by hand, which isn't a big deal, but it's just a little extra time consuming when you've got 2 growing kids and adults that work. It's just, it piles up, and just staying on top of hand washing the dishes has been a little bit challenging. Okay, so then we have our dry ingredients, and we're gonna move on to the wet ingredients. So here we're going to use the pumpkin puree, which I need to open that can. Okay, so we're adding in 3/4 cup of the pumpkin puree. I'm gonna save that for later for another recipe I'm going to make today that I'm going to make ahead. That way it's ready for my kids for a busy week. Plus I'm going out of town, so I need to get everybody organized here for me to be away. Add some milk here. Okay, one of our farm fresh eggs. I think we're going to use some of my homemade vanilla that I made. It smells amazing. It's got a nice strong odor to it. Back up my recipe. I'm going to do 2 teaspoons. We're doubling it. There's the melted butter. We're going to give that a good mix. So now we're going to take our ingredients and we're going to pour it in here. We don't want to over mix it, but we want to make sure we get it all incorporated, and then I will be adding the chocolate chips here in a moment. So let's give it a good mix. I'm gonna add just a little bit more milk. I didn't add both cups in because I just wanted to make sure I had the right texture. So I'm just adding a little bit more in here now as I go. And this is what gives them that fluffiness. So. There we go.
Mom, when are we having breakfast?
Soup. Okay. Cooking it right now. Okay, we're just gonna add in a couple little things of chocolate chips in here. You can always add more if you want, but I'm just adding a little bit to give it a little bit of chocolate flavor. Okay. Now let's go ahead and get a pan heated up on the stovetop, and then we'll get putting these on there and making our rest of our breakfast. can see how thick and fluffy these pancakes came out, and they just tasted great and they smelled excellent too. Okay, now after breakfast, we are fueled up and ready to start this canning process. So I'm using my immersion blender. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can just use a normal blender, but you're going to have to spoon everything into the blender. So I'm just taking my immersion blender. I'm going to make sure everything is smooth as possible. And then I will put it back on to cook down a little bit longer. I will put it on high for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending upon the consistency that you are looking to get. It really doesn't matter what kind of apples you use. I used a mix of Gala and Honeycrisps, and they all will give it a nice sweet flavor, and also those spices give it that extra little bit of a fall flavor. And like I said earlier, it smells amazing here in my house right now. Even my kids commented how good it smelled. Okay, so we already had breakfast. I've got the rest of the apple butter kind of cooking down so it thickens, and now we're gonna go ahead and make our sweet potato hash. I'm going to put this out in little meal prep trays. That way we have this for breakfast throughout the week. So first we're gonna start with 4 sweet potatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and take some bacon. I'm gonna fry it up in a pan, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the sweet potato in. That way it can soften a little bit, and then we'll turn it all into a hash. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get some bacon cooking in a pan, and I used 4 of these bacon strips, actually 5, as I had one left over. I didn't want to save it, but I went ahead and cooked these, and I want them nice and crispy. And then while they are cooking, I'm going to go ahead and peel and dice up my sweet potatoes, and then I will take these sweet potatoes and put them in that pan that the bacon was. I will remove the bacon first, but then I will cook these sweet potatoes until they soften in that bacon grease. So in the fall, sweet potatoes are in season, so I'm trying to use what is in season right now at this time of the year. And I love sweet potatoes, plus they're healthy for you, and you can make them savory, you can make them sweet, however you want to make them. But this just made breakfast so easy for the week. I just pulled one out, threw it in the microwave, heated it up, and then I had a nice hearty breakfast. So I let these sweet potatoes kind of saute here in this bacon grease for about 10 minutes till they started to soften up a little bit. And then in the meantime, I chopped up 1 onion. I had some bell peppers that were frozen that I wanted to use up, so I chopped those up. And then I also added some garlic, and then I also added paprika, some salt, some pepper. You can use whatever spices you would like. And look how beautiful it is. The colors are just gorgeous. And then I'm gonna crumble up this bacon, add it on top, let it cook till the sweet potatoes are softened. So use a fork test, make sure they are soft. And then you can add the eggs however you want. I love scrambled eggs, so I'm gonna go ahead and just mix up some eggs here. And then when I plate it out, I will just put the scrambled eggs on top. And like I said, this is a quick, easy breakfast that is meal prepped ahead of time. That way I don't have to rush around cooking breakfast in the morning. Now my apple butter has thickened to a point where I feel like it is ready to be canned. So I'm putting this in my clean mason jars, and I'm just doing smaller jars this time because I do plan on gifting some of these for Christmas to some family members. So I am just going to ladle the hot apple butter into these jars, and I'm using safe canning practices. This is just water bath canning. So just like you always do, make sure you clean those rims really well, put your lids on fingertip tight. And if you're putting hot jars into a water bath canner, make sure that your water is warmed up already so you don't crack your jars. And we also want to make sure that we let these cook for about 10 minutes on a nice rolling boil. That way we have a good seal. So here you can see I'm just putting all my jars down into the hot water. I'm gonna put the lid on and let these cook for 10 minutes. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and make some pumpkin muffins for breakfast since it is fall season and I got a little helper here now. So we're gonna go ahead and start making these muffins, and then we'll put them in the oven, and then I think we're gonna have one with a little bit of tea or coffee because I'm tired today. So a little bit of pumpkin muffin and coffee sounds great for a little pick-me-up this afternoon. All right, so go ahead and put that, and you can just hold it like this and then scoop it.
Ow.
Okay, easy. All right, that should be good.
What does it taste like?
Not a fan. So for this recipe, we're adding 1 3/4 cups of pumpkin puree, and then I'm adding a half a cup of vegetable oil, and I'm going to add 1/4 cup of milk and 2 large eggs. And then we are also adding 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1½ teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 1½ teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then we are going to combine all this up, and you can add chocolate chips, you can add whatever else you'd like to make this extra flavorful, but this is just the right amount of pumpkin spice, and it is so soft and so moist. I love these little moments in the kitchen with my daughter. She loves to help, and I also just think about in the future, I am teaching her how to be a good cook, how to be a good housewife, and just some of those skills that are really important to have. So while we were mixing all this up, I went ahead and preheated the oven to 425 degrees. And then whenever it is time to bake these muffins, we're going to put them in the oven for 5 minutes at 425. And then we are going to reduce the oven temperature to 350 and bake for an additional 16 to 17 minutes. And then you're going to do your toothpick test and make sure that the center comes out clean. But the total baking time for these should be about 20 to 22 minutes. And then you just want to allow them to cool. And they are good at storing at room temperature for up to a week. Okay. I hope you're enjoying these fall recipes that I am sharing, and I just love fall baking whenever it's getting darker out earlier and the days are getting a little colder. I love to be in my kitchen baking and coming up with meals that are nice and cozy and in season. This also got me thinking about Thanksgiving and all the things that we want to bake around Thanksgiving time. But unfortunately this year, since I am a nurse, I do have to work on Thanksgiving, and I work night shifts. I work the night before and the night after, but I've got plenty of recipes that I'm excited to try. I am so excited to get these out of the oven and spread a little bit of the apple butter on these and enjoy them while they are still warm. So for this last recipe, I'm going to go ahead and make some apple maple syrup cinnamon oatmeal, and I'm going to go ahead and eat this now for my lunch, but I also am going to make a little extra to meal prep for the rest of the week. So this recipe is really simple. All you need is a half a cup of diced apples, 2 teaspoons of maple syrup, and 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And then we're going to saute that on the stove until the apples are soft. Then we're going to add a half a cup of rolled oats, 1 cup of water or milk, a half a teaspoon of maple syrup. You could use brown sugar. And then you're going to add in ground cinnamon to your taste liking. Then a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a pinch of sea salt, and 2 tablespoons of pecans if you want them. I didn't have any. And then we're going to plate this out. And like I said, I'm going to eat this for lunch today. And then I went ahead and made it again and doubled it. And I have that prepped for the rest of the week. Also, for a little bit of protein, I'm adding a little bit of Greek yogurt on top. Fall is such a special season for slowing down, cooking from scratch, and filling your pantry with homemade goodness. If you love this cozy kitchen day, don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know in the comments which recipe you'll try first. Thanks for spending a fall morning in the kitchen with me. Bye, friends.